Hey guys, it's Rachel. Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to go over how I do my makeup for the Disney parks, and I'm going to show you step by step exactly what I use and how I keep my face from I'm going to show you how to keep my face from being too shiny while I'm in the parks on those hot, sweaty Florida days, and we're going to go over every little step so that you feel confident in how to do your makeup for the Disney parks as well. So stay tuned, here we go. There's a fly in here. Alright guys, let's dive right in. So as you can see, my skin is not that great. I have some blemishes. I am very, very pink naturally, and I might have little hairs on my face because I cut my bangs today. So first step that we are going to do today is prepping my skin for this makeup. Now typically when I am not in Florida, I would use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. This is a hydrating primer, and I love this primer because I don't feel like I need to put lotion on my skin before I start, because it just kind of hydrates as it smooths out all my pores. But while in Disney, I need to put some SPF on my skin, which typically when I'm home, I don't need SPF. But in Florida, you do. We're gonna use this product by Supergoop. It is a sunscreen serum, and this was recommended to me like 2 years ago from a girl at Sephora. I was looking for a sunscreen that wouldn't make my face goopy throughout the day, and something that I could put my makeup over, and I fell in love with this. So again, this is by Supergoop. It has 30 SPF, and it has vitamins E and B5, and it's lightweight. It's a serum, so it's not gonna feel like a lotion, and it dries really smooth, similar to my primer. So we're just gonna do, let's see, probably like a squirt and a half, not very much. It goes a long way. And I just bought this new one. This expires in 2020, so I'll get like 3 years out of this because I really don't use it that often, really just in the summer and when I'm in Florida. So we took like a pea-size amount, and I am just gonna use my fingers, and we're going to make sure I get this all over my face. Gonna get a little bit, just a little bit more. Maybe like 2 to 3 pumps. Something you'll notice in this video is because my bangs are slanted, oh, I got hair in my eye. Because my bangs are slanted, I don't put anything makeup-wise above my bang line. Maybe just a little bit of like sunscreen right over here, but I don't go ahead and put foundation up there or anything like that. So I'll explain that as I go. But for me, that never sees sunlight, so my bangs cover it, and the more product I would have up there, the sweatier I would get in Florida or whatever Disney park I was in, and that's just not fun. No. All right, now that we have that everywhere, I'm just gonna wait just maybe 30 seconds or so for it to dry a little bit. It's really already dry, it's pretty smooth, but just so it's not as tacky. Starbucks break. Okay, next step. I use the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Foundation. I am in love with this foundation. This is shade number 20, and because it's a mattifying foundation, it won't make my face look any shinier than it needs to while in Florida. With the Florida heat, I know, like, I feel like the dewy look is really in, but I get that naturally because it's hot. So the matter my foundation at the beginning of the day, the longer it'll last, at least for me. So I'm gonna put same amount, about a dollop. A little bigger than a pea-size amount of foundation. I'm just gonna put it on my hand. And I have a small damp beauty blender. This is a Sephora brand beauty blender. And I'm just going to put this all over my face. Now, like I said earlier, I am not going past my bang line for my foundation. If your forehead shows, then I would go ahead and put some up on your forehead. Maybe not too close to your hairline, blend it up a little bit so you're not too cakey by your hairline where you're gonna sweat right away. But I am just gonna go right to my bang line. The other spot that I don't typically like to put foundation is on my nose. Now I did put my sunscreen prep on my nose because sun will hit my nose all day long, obviously, but I don't like my nose to feel too cakey. For now, I'm leaving my nose bare and I am just putting my foundation in the cracks of my nose and just kind of lightly blending up so there's no line there, but we're leaving that out and we'll get to that later. Next step is concealer. This is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is in shade Light 2 Vanilla. And it took me years to find a concealer that I really liked. I just kept getting creasing under my eyes, and maybe I've just learned a better technique on how to keep it from creasing, but I really think it's because of this concealer that I don't have that problem anymore. So what we're gonna do is use the applicator brush, and I'm just gonna dab concealer under my eyes. And this concealer I do find dries pretty quickly, so I'm only gonna start with my eyes right now, and then we'll touch on a couple other spots on my face. So now that I have that on, I am going to take my beauty blender, a different beauty blender. This one actually has a flat side, which I really like for under my eyes. And I'm just going to blend this in. And let's be real, being in the Disney parks, we're staying up late, we're not getting much sleep. I'm gonna do a second coat. Yeah. Now that my concealer is under my eyes, I'm going to take the Laura Mercier. This is translucent loose setting powder. Obsessed. This stuff is so great. I am going to turn it upside down, give it a bunch of taps, get some product in the lid, take a poof, load it up, and I am going to press this powder to where I just put my concealer using a lot of product. If there's excess on your skin, that's totally fine. Pressing it in. This technique is called baking, if you've heard of baking before. We're gonna leave all that excess powder there, and in about 10 minutes or so, when I get done my brows and my eyeshadow, I am going to brush this away, and it sets the concealer that we just put on so much better than if you were to just press a little bit of powder and wipe it off right away. Just having that sitting on there, it fills in all those cracks, and it's gonna leave us with more of a flawless finish in the end. So now that that part is done above my eyes, I'm gonna go in a couple spots I always like to hit. It's just the corners of my mouth, and right now I have this little breakout, lovely, on my chin, so we're gonna touch on that as well. And then I'm just gonna blend that out with a beauty blender and do the same thing as my eyes and set it with some powder. All right, moving on. Next, I am going to do my eyebrows. Now, my brows, I wear really, really bold brows. I realize how bold they are. This is just how I like to wear them. This is by no means how you should wear your eyebrows. Everyone's different, and I recommend you go and do your research and find a brow product that works for you. But I will show you how I do mine and what products that I use for my bold brows. So today I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Dip Brow Pomade. Now this is in the shade Ebony, again, dark. I prefer it dark just because I like the contrast with my dark eyeliner and my dark hair, and that's what we're gonna use today. I also use a brush. I actually got this at Sephora. This is Sephora brand. It is the Pro Brow Precision 20 brush, and I just like the thickness of this brush for my brows, how thick I like them. And one thing I will note, if you use the brow pomade, clean this brush every time. Otherwise, you're not gonna get as smooth or as nice of an application. So always go in and clean your brushes. I recommend the Makeup Forever. This is the instant brush cleaner. This stuff is fantastic if you're doing makeup on your friends or if you're just doing your makeup every day, and obviously not all of us have time to clean our brushes, all the brushes every single day. This is a great way to clean in between throughout the week, in between you thoroughly cleaning all your brushes. So with that, I'm gonna dip into my brow pomade and do my brows. Sometimes this takes me like 30 minutes and sometimes it takes me 3. Doing brows is so hard sometimes. I know you guys can relate to me, right? If you can relate to me, comment down below. Brows are the enemy sometimes. Okay, so for the most part, they're being cooperative today. Thanks, brows. Okay, we're not doing horrible, but we're not doing great either. So what I'm gonna do is take a break from making them any thicker. And I'm gonna go in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills pencil. Now this pencil, it's called Pro Pencil. They say it's an eyeshadow primer and color corrector. Now this is in the shade Base 1, so I believe this was the lightest shade. And I like to actually use this to go around my brows and outline them, just to take off any sort of residue from a mess up, like right over here. I did a little bit today, and it matches my foundation really well, and then I just blend it out a little bit. Okay, and I use mostly Sigma brushes typically. So this is a Sigma brush. This is a eyeshadow brush in, I believe, oh my gosh, it's so worn. E55, I believe it is. It's kind of a flat eyeshadow brush, and I use this to buff out under my eyes. Now that I did that, I'm just gonna go over a few spots that need a little touch up, and then we're good to go on the brows. So next step, we are gonna move on to eyeshadow. Now, I am not afraid of bold eyeshadows. I don't usually go bright colors, but I like dark shades, and I like to add a lot of depth to my eyes because my eyes are so big. But when I am in Disney, I don't go as dark simply because it's hot, and if I have any sort of fallout, or if I sweat too much, or let's say I go on a water ride, I don't want dark eyeshadow going all over the place. Now with my makeup tips, it shouldn't be going all over the place anyway, but just in case, I'm gonna keep it pretty light and fun, and just give my eyes a little bit of a pop. So I'm gonna start out with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. This is the original formula. They have a whole bunch of different formulas. I just stick with the basics because it's easier. So we're just gonna put a little bit on top of both of my lids. I am just gonna use my finger. Next step, I am going to use my Tarte palette. This is the Tarteist Pro. I have been obsessed with this palette for a while since I've gotten it. First off, it smells really good. It's like sweet, like it reminds me of a bakery. I don't know why, but they have some beautiful shades in here, and what I love is I can create so many different looks with these shades. I can really make them natural, or I can amp them up, and there's some like metallic shades on the corner, there's some light, some dark, I mean a little bit of everything. I think honestly anyone could pretty much wear this palette. There's some cooler tones, warmer tones. I love it. So we are gonna go in with my Sigma brush. This is the Tapered Blending Brush E40, and it's a big old fluffy brush. It's my favorite brush just to start out on my lids. I am going to use the shade Vintage, which is right here. It's the lightest shade in the palette. There's another light shade above that one called Classic, which I will use sometimes too as a base. But this color is great because it's going to just brighten up my eyes. I feel brighter already. A very pretty base color. Next, I'm gonna go in, this is my Sigma Small Tapered Blending Brush E45, just a little smaller. And I could go really a couple different directions here. I usually will stick to like these shades when I'm trying to go light. I am going to use the shade Profesh today, which is this one right here. I'm just gonna go in on my crease. It might look a little dark, but we're gonna buff it out. Now, like I said, I don't want this to be too dark, so I'm gonna go back with my first brush I used and go back to the first color I used and just kind of go over this a little bit and blend it out. And I'm really just gonna go back and forth and perfect this and just make it as smooth as possible. Okay, so I think I have my shadow pretty simple and just about how I would like it right now. Looks a little crazy because I still have all my powder on from earlier. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and take that powder off. So I'm going to use my big Sigma brush. This is the Large Powder F30 brush by Sigma. And I am just gonna brush all this away. Brush this away. Cool. Now, at this point, I have powder in random spots on my face, but not everywhere else. So I want to go in and kind of fill in where I don't have powder. And remember I said earlier on my nose, I don't like to put foundation. Well, I do like to put powder foundation. So I am gonna go in with the Makeup Forever Pro Finish. This is a multi-use powder foundation. I use shade 113. So I am going to take my powder. You could go in with a brush. I like to use a sponge just because I like a heavier coverage personally. And I'm gonna go in over my nose. And all the pores on my nose now you can't see because the powder is going over top of the priming sunscreen that we used earlier. And then I'm just gonna kind of go over my cheeks a little bit where I didn't hit it earlier as well. I'm gonna go back into my Tarte Pro palette and I am going to take the shade Punk, which is pretty much a nice matte black. And I am going to go under my eye, more so in the corner, just to add some depth. Kind of work from the corner till like 3/4 of the way out. Again, I don't want to go too close. Almost poke my nose with my brush. I don't want to go too close to the corner of my eye because I don't want to close my eyes in. And now I'm gonna go in on my waterline with this eyeliner now. It's almost gone. I need to get a new one. This is Benefit. I believe it is called the Bad Gal Waterproof Eyeliner Pencil. As you can see, most of the name is gone now, but I will find it and link it down below with all the other things that I'm using in this video. So I'm gonna go and apply this on my waterline. Now this is a waterproof eyeliner pencil. I have no problem taking it off at the end of the day with my other makeup, but what I love about it is throughout the day, if your eyes are watering from being on a fast ride, or if you're just getting some wind in your face and your eyes are running in the park, you will not have a problem with this melting off. So good. I think I started using this at my wedding like 5 years ago, and still have been hooked on it ever since. Love this eyeliner pencil. If you use pencil for on top of your lids, then I would recommend this as well. But I use a liquid eyeliner, which is up next. So this is by Prestige Cosmetics. This is a liquid eyeliner. Now, it's extreme, long-lasting, waterproof. I have no problem taking this off again. At the end of the day, when I want to take it off with my makeup wipe, I just swipe it and it comes right off. But it doesn't flake, and it doesn't come off during the day when I'm at the parks. Again, when you're on a water ride, or if you're just walking in the wind and your eyes are watering, a roller coaster and your eyes are watering, this is not gonna move, and it's awesome. So it comes in this little kind of like felt tip pen. Let's see if we can make that focus. There we go. Felt tip pen, and you dip it in here. This thing lasts forever. I feel like there's a lot in here for what you're getting, and this is actually probably the least expensive piece of makeup that I'm showing you today. Pretty sure. But I'll link that down below for you as well. They used to carry this at Ulta, and at least at the one near me they don't anymore, so I do have to order this one from a separate website. But pretty much everything else I'm using today you can get either at Sephora or off of Amazon. Okay, so we're gonna take my eyeliner, and I am going to wing out my eyeliner for you guys. So usually I start in the corner, I make my wing, and then I build it up from there. Do what works for you, but this is just what works for me. I've been doing it since, I don't know, I was 12. Remember, with wing liner, it's always better to start out small and build your way up, because once you have it on there, if you have to wipe it off, you're gonna wipe off all your eyeshadow, and that's just no fun. We've all been there. I understand. I have always worn a really bold cat eye, so if that's not for you, that's fine. But this is just how I do it. Bolder the better. We're gonna go ahead and move back to my cheeks. So I use the Laura Geller. This is the Baked Bronze and Brighten Fair. And this is a great bronzer. One of my clients turned me on to. I'm gonna use the Laura Geller retractable powder brush. And I am just going to rub it kind of on the corner of this brush. And I'm gonna go in and kind of lightly contour my face a little bit. My face tends to have less of a tan than the rest of my body does when I am in Orlando, so you gotta match it up a little bit. Then I like to contour down here a little bit as well. And always, always, always blend down onto your neck, because you don't want any sort of lines going on. It's never cute. All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to take my large powder brush from Sigma again. I'm just gonna dip a little bit into my pressed powder and just kind of blend what I just did out a little bit. Now that I've got some color on my cheeks, we are almost done. So final touches. I am going to go in now with mascara. I always wait, mascara is second last, because of all the powder that I am blending out on my face. When the powder gets over your mascara, it's going to kind of take away from that depth of your mascara. So always wait until almost at the end to do this part. Right now I am using the Maybelline Colossal Mascara, and this is, I think it's called Glam Black. Yep, Glam Black. And this is just an over-the-counter mascara. You can get this anywhere, really, any drugstore. I do use different mascaras depending on what I have on me at the time. A lot of times I'll get little sample sizes from Sephora, and there's a couple that I love from there, but you know, my go-to when I go to a drugstore, this is the only one that I will buy because I trust it. It doesn't flake in my eyes, and it gives me the volume that I'm looking for. So I am going through and doing 1 or 2 coats under my lashes, but then I actually kind of flip over and do the tops of my lashes as well. I do a whole mess of coats no matter what mascara I am using. I like my lashes to look bold, and I'm going over them while they are still wet just to make sure that there's no big clumps going on. And then I'm gonna do the other side as well. Coating both sides. Okay, now that the mascara is done on top, I'm gonna do a light coat just on my bottom lashes, more so towards the corner, just to elongate them a little bit. All right, now we are on to lips. Now, I change my lips depending on the day. Something I like to use on my lips after I like have a little bit of makeup left on them, I have this lip scrub from Lush, and it is awesome. Mint Juleps. So it's pretty much a mint chocolate sugar scrub, just like that. Take a little bit, it's edible. So, wet my lips a little bit, and I'm just gonna scrub them down with this. It just exfoliates them. You can lick it off. I'm gonna wipe a little bit of it too. Tastes delicious. But it's just kind of getting off a little bit of that foundation I had on earlier. So, I'm gonna show you guys a few different lip products that I use when I'm in the Disney parks. I do change it depending on the day, depending on what I'm wearing. I'm gonna go with something a little lighter and a little bit more neutral today. But I'm gonna show you guys a few different products that I recommend depending on the look you're going for. When I'm looking for a darker, bold lip, I use this shade. This is Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it is Craft. It is their liquid lipstick, and what I love about this liquid lipstick is it doesn't come off. It really doesn't come off, which is a good thing while you're in the parks, because if you're eating stuff, you don't want it to get on your lower lip. That's always a big problem. This won't move, and it's nice and dark. So I will use a lip liner first just because it is a darker shade. I use this one, Black Dahlia by Obsessive Compulsive Cosmetics. You can see it's a darker shade that matches this liquid lipstick pretty well. I'll line my lips first, and this shade, Craft, looks like this. When I want the perfect Minnie Mouse red lips to match my Minnie Mouse ears, I use this shade by Nars. This is their Velvet Matte Lip Pencil, and you can see I'm getting down to the wire on this one. This is the shade Cruella. Cruella de Vil, Cruella de Vil. But I absolutely adore this red shade, perfect for that Minnie Mouse inspired look. As you can see, perfect. I will use a lip liner with this one as well because it is a mess. When you use red lipstick, and especially not a liquid one, if you get just a little bit off to the side and try to wipe it away, it'll stain your hand, kind of like me trying to take it off my hand just now. So I will go in first with a lip liner. This one is by Bobbi Brown, and this is just a shade called Red, and it is fantastic. I'll use this first. And if I do make a mess and I wipe it away a little bit, remember earlier when I was doing my brows, I showed you this Pro Pencil by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's what I used under my brows just to kind of outline them, clean them up. This is also really great around your lips. So I recommend this for multiple things. I love this stick. So those two colors are great. I am also currently a little obsessed with the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea lipsticks. I have 3 of them here. I love this packaging, so pretty. It's like blue, marble, and I have 3 different shades here. This one is called Salt Life. It's a little bit more of a nude color. Honestly, it's pretty much the natural color of my lips, which I love. And then I have one called Cruisin, which is a little more purpley, but it's still very neutral, kind of a neutral color, similar to my lips, just with a little bit more of that purple tone. And then I have one called Vacay, which is a little bit more red, and it's still kind of a neutral red. It's not too bright red like my Minnie Mouse red earlier, but it gives my lips a little bit more depth and adds some red pigment. These are hydrating lipsticks. So these aren't ones that are gonna stay in place, but what's really nice, if you want a low maintenance lipstick that is movable, that doesn't make you feel like you're wearing a lipstick, because the liquid lipsticks can feel really dry on your lips. And if you're not someone that likes to wear makeup regularly, these might not be for you. I recommend trying them out because it is great that they stay, but these are gonna feel like chapstick, but give your lips some pigment, and they're so, so nice and luxurious. So the one I am going to use today, however, is Tarteist Lip Paint by Tarte. This is the color Festival, and I love this shade. It's a nude, but it also has a nice like purpley tint, very similar to my lip color, but just a little bit more fun. And this one will stay all day. This is one that is not gonna move, similar to the Anastasia one, and I love it. So we're gonna put this on. Because of the color, it's lighter. I don't need to use a lip pencil with it personally. I don't feel like I need one. If you do, just use a nude lip pencil. So these will go on as a liquid, but dry matte. It's a little sticky until it dries. Just give it a couple seconds. And now we're good. So guys, this is the finished look, but we have one more important step to talk about. This is what is going to keep your makeup from coming off throughout the day. You need to use a setting spray. You need to. Spray it all over your face as soon as you're done applying your makeup. I use the Mist and Fix from Makeup Forever. It is amazing. It helps keep my face from getting too sweaty looking, and it's just a miracle worker. So we're gonna spray this all over. I'm gonna close my eyes, kind of move my bangs out of the way, because it will make my face feel wet until it dries. Only takes a couple seconds. Ready? Oh, I have a new bottle. There we go. It's almost dry. It kind of tightens your face a little bit. Not in an uncomfortable way, but in a firm way. You just feel like, okay, my makeup is going to stick, and it's fantastic. I had to put on my ears, although they match my background right now. Can you guys even see them? So much sparkle. You deserve to feel beautiful on your vacation, so I hope that this helped you out today, and you will stay shine free, and your makeup will stay in place, and you will just feel like your best self while you're having a blast in Disney. So until next time, I'll see you real soon.